Hi class, this is Valeria Lopez and welcome to my final project presentation, and the topic is human papilloma virus. And I will grab the cell phone to show you better what I have for information here. So here you can have a better view about the poster. And first, I like to introduce you the scientific number of this virus, that is human papilloma virus, and is usually known as HPV. Okay, about the life cycle of this virus, we have the regular cycle as so many other viruses, and we have the attachment. Well, the HPV infects the epithelial cells through the microabrasion in the skin or mucosa. Then we have the uncoating phase, that the viral capsid releases its DNA into the host cell nucleus. Then, for replication, the viral DNA replicates using host cells enzymes, and as the infected cell differentiates. Then we have transcription and translation phase, where early genes, the E1 and E first, are expressed first, aiding replication. Late, the gene L1 and L2 are expressed later to form new capsids. Well, here in this picture, we have like a timeline, something like a timeline that helps to understand in a more graphic, organized way as well. I attach this picture where is the life cycle, and where you can find the L1 and the L2 genes, as well the E1 and E7 steps A and B. Here is representing the membrane, um, the mucosa, the skin, as well. Well, then we have the assembly phase, where new viral particles assemble to the nucleus, and then we have, and finally, the release. The virus is released as the infected epithelial cells die and slough off. Then I like to show you this, the the HPV genome, where as well we can find here the the E1, E2, E4, E5 genes, and going all the way in a circle. Something important to mention is um, the type of the genetic material is a double-stranded DNA, or better known as DS DNA. Okay, and as well, something important and super curious to me, and I really like to learn about, was the has a circle, so genome shape. It's a real shape, and here I have like representation of this virus, where we can visualize the capsid protein in the virus DNA. And it's like a representation about the inside of the virus particle and the outside as well. Important to note that this uh, virus, the viral envelope is absent. That means that it doesn't have an envelope virus. The virus is composed of a protein capsid made up of the L1 and the L2 structural proteins. Important to know that. Okay, something important as well is the classification. Well, this virus is part of the family, the Papillomaviridae. The genus, the name is Alpha Papilloma virus, is the most common types infecting in humans. in humans, sorry, and the other is unclassified because Papilloma viridae family is not assigned to an official viral order. Okay, going forward, we have signs and symptoms. Okay, often this virus is asymptomatic and it has different levels of risk. We have for low risk HPV 6 or HPV 11. Mm, And these types can cause genital warts and respiratory papillomatosis. For other hand, we have the high risk types. Was the most common are the 16 and the 18, and this one is associated with cervical cancer, anal cancer, pineal cancer, and oropharyngeal cancer. Other symptoms can be associated with this virus is itching, discomfort, visible warts, or skin or mucous membranes. Here you can see a picture of genital warts and a representation of the virus going through the cervix area. Well, the prevalence, something important, is that is the most common sexually transmitted infection worldwide. According to the CDC, about the 85% of sexually active people will acquire HPV at some point in their lives, and this is a critical fact. It's really, really, really important to use prevention. Well, in the US, approximately 79 million people are currently infected now, with 14 million new infections each year. Wow. Take care. Now, we have the treatment options. Well, there is no cure for this virus by itself, but some of the symptoms can be treated. For example, for warts, we have the cryotherapy that is basically is freezing the wart, then the laser therapy, removing it, or topical medications. For precancerous damage, we have surgical or ablation, like you can get a removal through a surgical procedure. As well, something important is the prevention, as I mentioned it before. Vaccination is the number one. Why? Because there is a plenty of options. We have here the most common in United States is the Gardasil 9. As well, we have another two options that is Gardasil by itself and Cervarix, and many of them are recommended to give the first dose before 13 years old or 15. You can picture here the scheme, and it's mostly recommended for people that doesn't initiate yet their sexual life. All of them are 3 doses, and what it prevents, some prevents the most risky types of this virus, and it's important um, to mention that this vaccine cannot be applied with to people over 50 years old. So, and as well, safe sexual practices are super important, and we can ask for HPV test gradually, preferably yearly. Okay, finally, the consequences for the host, as I mentioned, the most mm, serious one is the cancer. And here you can picture different stages of the cancer infecting the cervix. Well, is something is important to note is the persistent infection with high risk of HPV can lead to cellular transformation and cancer. One of the most common is the cervical cancer in women. Emotional stress, of course, for the disease, and as well for the symptoms followed by the diagnosis and the recurrent infections. That means that you have a immune response. So, this is a presentation. If you have questions or recommendations, I will be open to listen. Thank you.